Scotty B.
It's sports talk with Scotty Burrell.
Either you can't or you don't want.
It's sports talk with Scotty Burrell.
We go hard in the paint, homeboy, you better bring it. Sports talk, a conversation with Coach Scotty Burrell. Either you can't or you don't want. Now, here's your host, Coach Scotty Burrell.
All right, welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Coach Scotty Burrell. Man, like I keep telling you guys, I've always got some important and fascinating stories to tell, and I have another one here today. Ladies and gentlemen, former Breaux Bridge High School student. I'm going to make sure I'm saying that right, Dr. Kylar Wiltz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Coach.
Man, welcome to Sports Talk. We've got a very special guest again, Dr. Kylar Wiltz, whose journey truly inspires everyone, from the basketball courts at Breaux Bridge High School to earning a decorative. Dr. Wiltz has shown hard work, faith, and determination you can achieve anything. A proud graduate of Xavier University in New Orleans.
Sir. Happy 100th year.
All right, Howard University.
College of Medicine.
College of Medicine in Washington, D.C. And now, officially, Dr. Wiltz. Let's dive into it, baby. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, how does it feel to be called Doc?
It still feels weird. I mean, it's been like a year and some change now. And trying to get comfortable with still hearing it and kind of like transitioning from student doctor to like full doctor. It's still weird. I still tell people just call me Kylar.
I bet it is. So let's tell everybody in Sports Talk. Who's Kylar Wiltz? Parents, siblings?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from a really, really big family here. I mean, as you know, me and my brothers came up through the Team Louisiana basketball pipeline.
Go Big Dave Thibodeau.
Yeah, absolutely. So mom, Tara Gordon, dad, Kevin Wiltz. Also have some great step-parents, Dalton Alexander, stepdad, and Ivy Wiltz is my stepmom. A ton of siblings, as I mentioned. Yeah, I'll probably say like the biggest thing that my family, my parents have taught me is to be grounded in your faith, to work extremely hard and not to expect anything just to be given to you. And most above, all else is that whatever you put your mind to, you could accomplish it. Now, I'd like to think that my journey is a testament to that.
I think it is. That's why I ask you to come on Sports Talk, because people don't hear those stories often till you hit the news, the big national news. But what about us, the local guys? We gotta give you your props. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them are too. If they, you probably haven't heard it just yet.
And I think that's important because like it shows the plethora of things that like everyone from this area is doing. Right. As you mentioned, everything isn't gonna make the huge headlines on CNN or whatever, but we're all doing some amazing things. Like I tell you, congratulations on everything you've been doing too.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Welcome back to Sports Talk once again. Dr. Wiltz. Sports Talk is sponsored by Coach C Driving Academy, Floyd Poche's Meat Market, Green's Piggly Wiggly, and Crazy About Crawfish, just to name a few. Thank you guys for supporting St. Martin Parish sports with me. I'm Coach Scotty Burrell. Back to Dr. Wiltz. Wilson, we talked about your family, and just talk about you growing up. How you thought that was it as a kid, playing basketball? Was that a dream of yours to be a doctor?
Yeah, so it was really interesting because, like all kids, I thought that I was going to go to the NBA until, I stopped growing.
Right. Oh, no, I know.
But again, it just kind of goes into my parents always kind of pushing us to kind of dream and attain anything that we can. I also would say that like pushing education was extremely, extremely important. I mean, kind of again, going back to our Team Louisiana days, is like that's something that you guys always kind of pushed as well. And while we can kind of argue who took heed to the words or not,
right,
I think that it's extremely important to kind of push going to school, taking your book serious, because again, at the end of the day, we're all not gonna be NBA players. But
Absolutely.
One statistic that I come to find is that there are more doctors than professional athletes. There are more lawyers.
See,
and all of these different things.
We'll take a little break.
For over 62 years, Poche's Meat Market Restaurant and Smokehouse has been a cornerstone of our community. With a legacy of flavor and tradition, Poche's brings you the finest Cajun meats and dishes crafted with love and expertise. From our famous boudin and cracklings to mouthwatering smoked sausages, every bite tells a story of quality and heritage. Come taste the tradition at Poche's. Join us at Poche's Meat Market and Restaurant, where community and flavor come together. Visit us today and be part of the legacy. Poche's, over 62 years of making every meal memorable.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk. We're here with Dr. Kylar Wiltz, man. So we were going to continue. You was talking about your journey growing up and coming through Team Louisiana. You got to high school. It was high school basketball. We got a chance to watch you guys play. Let's start from there. From high school. Some of the coaches or mentors might have helped shape you out through your high school days.
Yeah, absolutely. I always was, again, like, I think that because Breaux Bridge within itself is a smaller, like, community, right? So I grew up, again, as I was just telling you, like, watching Durden play in high school, going to see Lou Pop, my older cousin.
And it's funny you mentioned that name. I happened to see him maybe a couple of hours ago at the grocery store. It's amazing, though. It's amazing.
And then, like, getting to high school, and then, Trayvon Durrell and Aaron Lestraps and, DeAndre Alex, like, just seeing all of them and just kind of having them as older brothers, it really, again, just kind of pushes you, right? I didn't play football.
Right.
So, really just kind of going in that, and them really just pushing every day and just really seeing, like, those type of athletes and everything that they were doing, it pushed me to work harder, which ultimately allowed me to carry over that work ethic to, other aspects of life.
Right.
So, schooling, student organization, so on and so forth.
Well, we as a coach, we tell you young men, it's a tool for work. And you believe it or not, some kids don't believe it, but you just said it. It builds your character, it builds your strength, your perseverance. When there's times when you want to quit, you're like, no, it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I can't quit.
And I think that, like, again, when we growing up and y'all saying, whatever you do on this basketball court, you're going to do in life. And we kind of look at y'all like, nah. Like,
all right.
But it's absolutely true. Like, there are times, similar to being in a close game where your back is against the wall in life, right? And you have the decision of, I'm going to lock in and I'm going to make a play, or I'm going to fold under the pressure.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing in life.
But just name a few, people that you figure that coaches or mentors, you just to say, recognize that kind of help you through the days of being around sports in high school and what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, like my parents, yourself, high school coach Kevin Bonhomme. Also want to give a special shout out to Coach Box.
Yeah.
Right, like when I got there, I started very early because at Breaux Bridge, our football players play.
Right, that's true.
I actually remember my very first varsity game as a freshman, and we ran up against those good Westgate teams.
Oh wow!
And we were Lil Fred.
All right,
watching the young, watching the young, we young Team Louisiana, and watching that team, you had the 17U team, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing against him now. Like, this is kind of crazy. But then just kind of really seeing, someone. Oh, my apologies. Seeing someone such as Coach Bach kind of come out and say, like, they bleed just like you bleed. Kind of go out there and have that mindset to just carry that dog in you everywhere you go.
Well, Kyle, a lot of kids, you see athleticism. But you have to have a lot of smarts.
Yeah.
And sometimes smarts overpower athleticism. Yeah. I used to tell a lot of players now, you don't have to be the biggest, the strongest, because we're playing inside the confine of a line, a box. He cannot run outside that box. I don't care how fast he or she is. But no, do you remember a specific game or moment from high school that will stick with you till today?
I think we talked about this one day when we were playing in Cecilia. And I got headbutted and I got like the black eye, and my eye was swollen shut, but like I kept playing. And I remember that one specifically because after the game, you pulled me to the side and you spoke to me just about, again, like having the toughness to kind of continue on, because again, like in life, right, we're gonna get the bumps and bruises, we're gonna get knocked out, we're gonna get the black eyes, but if you're focused on a goal, if you're focused on a specific outcome, when your body is running on E and you still need that extra pull, you have to be able to hold on to the thing that you want most. In that moment, it was to survive to the next round of the tournament.
Right.
So, that one specifically, always kind of jumps out to me because I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, man, I love being a pretty boy. Jesus Christ.
And we used to say, you bright fellas, you get hit, you gonna know. You gonna know you got hit. But no, man, I remember as a coach and coaching you guys and being around y'all, the will that y'all had.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the size or being people who just thought, we bigger, but y'all never had, I've never heard the word quit in you guys and never seen it.
Yeah.
So I could tell from what you're saying and everything. So we're going to take a step forward and we're going to talk about going to college. You graduated from Breaux Bridge High in 2014. I left after that year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, who would want to stay after the best group left? You was like my dogs is leaving.
Well,
man.
I mean, being around a lot of kids, and it's funny that when I went on, I got a chance to work with some of my other Team Louisiana players from the Cecilia area, and it's like, man, I'm getting older.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I was at Xavier, and I came back on the weekend, and Josh Fontenot, Caleb, then they were playing the tournament at LCA, and you let me coach them.
Yes.
And we went 2-1 that week, and I was like, how I might have a future.
No. But that's fun, and I always say that, man. I love when you kids come back, and I mentioned that maybe 1,000 times. I'm sorry, Sports Talk a week. I got Caleb Carter.
Yeah.
Now our wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
And we've been in school maybe 62 days, 65 days. I can promise you 45 or 50 of them. Every day at lunchtime, you come give me a hug and ask 2 words, you all right? I'm like, I'm good. But I told him, I said, man, you just don't know how you make me feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
Donovan Williams, another one, he's my co-classes. He'll come up every day, coach, all right? But I said, man, he said, well, that's the impression you left on us. You made men out of us. I said, look at
another one I grew up watching, Donovan. Because, I mean, his oldest brother played for my dad and then played against my dad, Renz.
Right.
I, grew up watching him, so it's like, it just goes to show. I remember our breakout for Team Louisiana was 1, 2, 3 TL 4, 5, 6 family. So it's
you give me that's some old days.
Yeah,
and I got
cuts.
I got a wash house full of pictures, and my wife said you got to get rid of them. I said, well, we'll put them in the wash house. I still got all the big trophies, but that's my memory, man. That's me having fun. So, Kylar, you chose Xavier. Obviously, it's an exceptional school for medicine also, to get you started going into your career. Why Xavier, and what experience did you like about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said at the beginning, it was just our 100th homecoming, so I was, happy 100 to Xavier. Just, kind of like you said, a testament to excellence, but most importantly, persistence to kind of, make it from that long ago through all the challenges of society. Funny enough, when I was in high school, I only applied to 2 colleges. I applied to Tulane and Loyola, and didn't really have my eye on any HBCUs. I mean, it's not anything against HBCUs. It just kind of was like where my mind was at the time, and it's crazy because my dad went to Southern. Applied to the schools, got scholarships, but I was like, could I get more money? So my cousin went to Xavier. He's a pharmacist, and he was like, well, just go towards Xavier, we'll see. And went there, met, the administration. I genuinely loved the school. So I applied there, eventually got a full scholarship, and that was all she wrote. I got there, I was able to join Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Oh, so you're a Kappa?
Yeah, I used to do a little shimmy back in the day.
Shout out to my brother-in-law, Curtis Johnson, and my boy, Joseph Bilbo in Lake Charles. They some Kappas down there, too, man. Boy, they love to hear that.
Got there, was involved in literally any and everything. With I think the biggest thing that Xavier gave me was finding myself, more so as a black man, and how do I navigate all of these different interests, but to also be of service to my community.
Right.
And graduated from there in 2018, and went on to Howard for medical school.
Man, absolutely great, man. You're giving me goosebumps. But boy, my brother-in-law gonna love that. Man. You sat down with a nuke, man. Wait till you hear that. So, how did being a student athlete at Breaux Bridge High kind of help you prepare going to Xavier for life after basketball?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what it did for me was ultimately what I did was replace basketball for more community work, more student organization. So I had already had the foundation to be able to kind of go in there and thrive.
Right.
Because we were waking up 4:30 in the morning to work out before going to school, putting up shots, then having basketball practice afterwards, and then my brother played football.
Right.
Some other brothers ran track, so it was like we were always constantly doing something, but having that bar set high that if y'all grades aren't where they need to be,
you're not gonna play.
The lace is going in the closet.
All right.
So
I know that. I know that person.
Oh yeah.
I know your mom and dad person.
Yeah. So
your
again,
dad for sure.
That mindset, that discipline of trying to pursue excellence, just kind of allowed me to transition to Xavier and thrive.
Well, if sports talk, if you don't know Dr. Wiltz, man, exceptional family, like he mentioned at the beginning. Doctor. Next brother's a pro athlete.
Yeah.
The next brother's a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And the next brother's about to graduate from college. Man, if I need a ticket or get my cold taken care of or some medicine, I'm just going to call the Wiltz family. They'll come take care of
it. And again, I tell people that my biggest achievement in life is being a good big brother and like being able to set a good example. Like, I find happiness in splendor in seeing my younger brothers and sisters do amazing in life.
And everybody wants that, but what you're saying, you really monitor, you really step in. If you have to put your foot down, you did it before you got to mom or dad, because if it goes over you, it's going to be worse than what it's going to be. So, all right now. All right. So, how did you balance leaving the game of basketball, for one, knowing that you're not going to play?
Yeah.
You didn't play, but it's not going to be like for the school, I'm going to say. How did you balance that grind, leaving the game and the tough college courses when you knowing that you wanted to be in medicine?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was tough because largely, again, we were doing that, probably since the time I could probably walk. We had been playing basketball. We played bitty basketball, Mr. Mark's program.
Right.
I started playing AAU for Team Louisiana, and I was younger because all of my friends were like a year. So I was playing younger. So it's like from that point, it was year round. So there was a void that once I got to school, it was like, okay, like I'll play in the rec, playing the intramural leagues, but then I also had this focus on I want to be a physician. So I think what Xavier did a great job of, and shout out to Ms. QV, who's our pre-med advisor there, is they kind of create a structure for us that's similar to an at-home environment for many of us, where we know that every Monday we have a meeting, we have assignments throughout the week, we have follow-ups. So what it did, it just kind of replaced what basketball was before. Man. And it just worked for me. They tell us that, as great as Xavier is, it isn't for everybody. So, kind of going there and having the discipline of my parents being replaced by, my surrogates over there.
Right.
It literally
it was nothing different.
Yeah.
It was it was a lot, very similar.
Literally.
Very similar. Well, I've heard a lot of great things about Xavier University. A lot of athletes, quite a few kids from this area played here. One you might know of, another Team Louisiana guy. It's the assistant head coach, Tyrone Mitchell. Yeah. He played for Team Louisiana. So
and he was there. He's been there for
a
minute.
He just was named co-head coach to the basketball program. So, man, it's time to leave Xavier. The tears, everybody saying goodbye. How did you feel to say goodbye? How did it feel?
It was kind of like, it was weird. Louisiana is kind of one of those places where many of the people that are from here, we kind of never leave.
Right.
So
you hear that all the time.
Yeah. So it was like, even when I applied to colleges, I applied, ultimately ended up being 3 when I added Xavier, and it was like, New Orleans is like right down the street. But to us, when we say we're going to the city, it means we're going to New Orleans.
Right, of course.
So I was like, okay, like was the next thing. So I'm applying to medical schools and ended up coming down to Mizzou and Howard. And those were back before COVID, where we did in-person interviews. And I actually got an interview from LSU in New Orleans, but like I just kind of turned it down because I was like, maybe I need to just try to see what the rest of it was.
Right.
And I was very nervous,
Well,
but I think I had to push myself out of my comfort zone.
Well, that's the perseverance that goes with it.
Yeah.
That's what makes you stronger. And that was you answered my next question. I was going to ask you what inspired your decision to attend Howard University for medical. But let's go fast forward. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced on your journey to become a doctor?
Well, the first challenge was, again, I'm from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. Getting dropped in a city 1,000 miles away from home was the absolute. It was the absolute worst. To be quite honest, and I think what also made it worse was that's the year that Set them won the state championship.
Yeah.
So I go from I'm not missing their games to they're going to the state championship, and it's like I'm watching this from afar while trying to learn textbooks full of information in 2 weeks, and it's like I'm drowning. The food is different. The traveling around is different, and it honestly took me about a year and a half to get fully acclimated to the environment. What I will say is, the family that I made in medical school, like till this day, is, one of the things that I'm most fortunate and blessed for. I genuinely met friends that are going to be at my wedding.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are going to be godparents to my kids. It's just, and I think that's the beauty of Howard. Like when I got that Howard interview, everything else was just kind of like, okay, it's just line out because unless this is and even then, like I was set on Howard as soon as I got that acceptance letter.
That's it.
I'm going to Howard.
All right.
And my dad, it was like, well, just pray about it. I was like, I did. Just what I told you I'm going to Howard, I'm going to Howard. And I just went with it, and I loved my decision.
Man, you could hear that. And you people might say there's always things happening, but you could. It sounds like you surrounded yourself with a great bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
People that want the same things you want,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we're all in medical school, so we're all there for the right reason.
Yeah.
And first, let me say this: thank you for that, because we need a lot more, African American doctors.
Absolutely.
And I don't know the statistics, but I do know we need them.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
We need them.
There was actually a statistic because I was the spokesperson for the Association of American Medical Colleges initiative on Black men in medicine. There was a statistic that we have the same amount of black male doctors now, and it's decreasing in medical school as we did during the civil rights movement time. So it's like when we kind of look at these numbers and look at the outcomes, it's like, well, that's the issue. This is a systemic issue that we're facing, and I think that's the beauty of HBCUs, right? I was able to kind of develop an outlook of the world that outline the issues that black and brown people face,
Right.
but then also kind of look at the impacts of it that it faces everyone, right? When you look at let's say like South Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we need more doctors, period.
Right. Okay.
So it's like
Especially we eating all that pork over here.
yeah, like I went get some. I was at Charlie T's early. That's why I fell asleep on the sofa.
We eat all that pork and all that rice on this here.
Yeah, and it's like more doctors in general helps everybody.
Right.
So
the more doctors they have, the better the chance.
And we can keep eating our boudin.
Yeah.
I for sure love it.
Because I don't know if you know, 10 years ago I caught a heart attack.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry to hear that, Coach.
And so I know what it felt like to feel that pain of having a heart issue and everything, because I was in some excruciating pain. But no, it's just tickling. But ask me, did I stop eating my boudin crackling? Nah.
My dad was telling me earlier, I actually wanted some crackling. He was like, my blood pressure gonna go high. I said, well, mine not, brother.
All right. I'm the doctor. I can treat myself. Man, I know things might have got a little tough at times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use the word quit. I know you must have said, wow. How did you motivate yourself?
I think the feeling that I had was, when I was facing real adversity and shortcomings is, again, for the most part, what I tell people a lot of times is, people that get to certain positions, specifically academically,
Mhm.
it's like, you know, we've always fairly been like been able to thrive in that space. But when you get to something like medical school or law school or pharmacy school, whatever it is, and you like, I've been taking some L's.
Yeah.
And for me, when I kind of faced that adversity and kind of reached my lowest, you know, in that struggle, I kind of looked at it in the sense of like, there's going to be someone else that looks like me that's going to be in the same position. And I can either give them a story of I dust myself off and kept fighting, or I quit. Which story do I want to tell them?
Yes, absolutely.
And how will the story I tell help them get over what they're dealing with?
Absolutely.
Because again, there aren't a lot of us to begin with.
And not from here.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you know, another Xavier grad in Janan Sylvester, who's in the pharmaceutical business, I think, in that area. So that just said your brother's going to be in the pharmaceutical. I mean, we can count on our hands. I mean,
Yeah.
But you know what? From the Breaux Bridge community, you can count on one hand.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I love it because as a former coach and a mentor to the kids in the community, y'all just don't imagine how y'all make me feel.
Yeah.
Look at the goosebumps just to walk
I
around and
got
say,
'em too.
just to walk around and say,
Yeah.
man, I coached that kid. Whether it was one game, one practice, I had an opportunity to be in this kid's life, whether he or she wanted it or not. But man, every time I put on a story, it's a feel-good story. So Sports Talk, stay tuned. We got a lot more feel-good stories to continue with, man. A lot of people don't know that. That's why I appreciate you coming to
absolutely.
do this. You know?
And I think that's why, for me, I make it very intentional to come back as much as possible. Like, you probably know we do stuff in the housing authority, in the back on the court, and just everywhere, because it's like, that extra exposure really just shows young people what's possible.
It is.
Like, I mean, just imagine the trips that are like when we went through the Adidas Invitational in Houston, like
right?
2012, or like when you when y'all had made it to nationals in Orlando. It's like these are experiences that otherwise kids would not have ever, you know. Forget leaving the state, like leaving Breaux Bridge,
man.
So. Like, those are eye-opening moments that really show the possibilities of the world. Like, when I went to Africa, when I was working on a project, and I was like, man, I always said I wanted to come here. But it's like, to actually put your feet on the ground, it completely changes your outlook.
And then you got a chance to see a different culture.
Yes.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And then you be like, I'm glad I took this journey to make. And you know, sometimes you wish, like, if I could just flip a coin and change the world.
You would.
I would. I tell my wife that. I said I don't have any money, but I have a heart.
And that's, to me, that's more important. Yeah. Because again, anybody could get rich.
Yeah.
Or like could focus on money in their life, but can I change the outcome of someone's life? Like, change the direction, steer them in the right path. And I think that's the hardest thing to do, because now you're overcoming family trauma. Right. Now you're overcoming the self-doubt. And all these other things.
You know, one thing I heard you say, you want to continue to touch people as people has touched you. And I think that's so important, because I might be saying this quote wrong, but I think it's Dr. Angelo who said, people are never going to remember what you did for yourself, but they're going to remember what you did for others. Yeah. And that's why I try to touch a lot of lives. Getting older, I won't be seeing to touch too many more, but I'm not that old, y'all. But, you know, just to say, you know, all things come to an end. But what area of medicine you're focusing on, and what drew you to that?
Yeah, so originally I was leaning more towards plastic surgery. Which, oddly enough, like I'm extremely still interested in that aspect, but I've also been getting and have gotten a ton of exposure into preventative medicine and the subsequent healthcare policy side of it. To me, I have a strong passion for systemic change in medicine, right? Really being able to fix the kinks and the problems that will allow us to reach more and more people. You see how you mentioned down here we don't have a bunch of doctors, but we have a lot of high blood pressure and all of these things, and even an increased rate in pancreatic cancer that we're starting to see.
Oh wow!
Rest in peace to Angelo, by the way. So for me, I find that that systematic approach to how do we fix healthcare in America And more specifically, how do we fix healthcare in a state that's dearest to my heart that tends to rank at the bottom?
You know what? I'm looking at your eyes. You're going to find out that. You're going to figure it out.
Yeah,
I know you will. I can
and I've honestly like prayed a ton about it, because it's kind of one of those situations of like what I want to do versus sometimes what I'm meant to do, or where God is steering me, or what just honestly fits me best.
Yeah.
And like, I love speaking to people. I love, writing papers. I love being in rooms where I could be a voice for those who are voiceless, or who could be in these rooms.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if you're going to be able to, last year, I put the first St. Martin Parish basketball banquet together.
That was my, so I think
your brother Seth was
there.
one of the honorees,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave out his award to one of his own Breaux Bridge Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the kids were like, well, I didn't do anything. It wasn't about what you done.
Yeah.
It was
The
about
little Gore. I think his name
Gordon.
Gordon. Oh, hey,
it wasn't
a bucket. He would have been a Team Louisiana.
All right,
back in
but
the day.
it wasn't about what you doing. It's about
Yeah.
me being a St. Martin Parish guy, me being a former Breaux Bridge player, coach, and even though I'm working on the other side, letting the people know that we recognize you young men, whether we winning the state title, not winning the state title, just to let people know. But long story short, it was so fascinating that the panel, men and women, was all college graduates.
Yeah.
And when people ask me what, and I'm like, some of the ladies out there, most of them had masters.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, I didn't know that. So that's why, once again, we want to share the story. But great journey so far. Dr. Kylar Wiltz, guy, Breaux Bridge graduate. We're here at Sports Talk, man. Look, we just talking, having a conversation.
Yeah, really
man.
catching up.
Yeah,
really
I love
up.
it. Community and representation, man. First of all, you're representing us to the ton. If nobody tell you, I'm going to tell you, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for being an exceptional young man. What does it mean to you to be a young black doctor coming to a small town? Now, you're not here, your residency is not here in Breaux Bridge, but just coming back. And you never know what Kylar got in the future. His residency could be here in Louisiana, but how did it feel to be a young African-American doctor?
I think it's rewarding. When I hear you speak about it, just people in the community, right? Because you guys, from the very beginning have put so much into not just myself, but us. And by us, I mean our generation. Me becoming a doctor and being able to give back and do these events is honestly the least that I could do, because you guys consistently for 18 years of my life continue to sow positivity in me. I still remember going to the barber shop, when it was on Wade, it was on wherever it was, and just hearing like a lot of the men in there, like, man, like just keep pushing and just keep going. And to me, that meant more than a scholarship. It meant more than, getting an acceptance, because it showed that people believed in me. So when I come back, I always make a strong emphasis to try to put the same into younger kids.
Man, absolutely. Well, maybe we could put our thoughts together. I know our hearts are together, and we can come back. I've always wanted to do a boys or youth conference. Whether we get the football, basketball, even with girls and boys.
Yeah.
Get them all into one auditorium and listen to you speak, and I know we can find some other speakers to come in here and do a maybe a day on a Saturday where we can sit down. Won't take much of their time. Have lunch, and so we'll put our thoughts together.
It's crazy because we used to have stuff. You remember the Dads for Kids we used to have? And then when we were in the 8th grade, there used to be this, it's like this youth summer where they would take all the 8th graders in the parish and we would go to Cade. So I don't know. And I think that's a problem like we're seeing now in these young kids, because we don't have those spaces anymore for a Coach Scotty or a Kylar or whoever to come in. Like, there is a better way than the way that the media or whatever is telling you to live your life.
Well, I'd say this, being in education, generations has changed.
Yeah.
Parenting has changed. Living ways has changed. Let's say we could always do better. Even as a parent, as a young parent, I could do better. I have my faults, but I've learned, and that's why I give a lot of time to the youth, my kids, and everything, because I knew look, prime example. I'm sitting here with a doctor.
Yeah.
Prime example, but no, it's just a different generation, and we like for the fathers to step up a little bit more and push and shove those kids in the right direction, because it is so fast to just take. It's so fast to make one mistake.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do something right.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand that. It's just, but we would love to do something. If anybody out there in sports talk say, hey guys, let's get together, let's do this.
Absolutely.
I would be. Hey, I'm raising my hand now.
I'll be right there. I'll definitely be on board.
And Dr. Wiltz would be available if his schedule permit. We'll make it happen. Have any student or former athlete, even from Xavier or Breaux Bridge High, reached out to you for guidance or mentorship?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was literally speaking. I gave the biology department seminar, a guest lecture at Xavier recently, and you know, everywhere I go, I give out business cards. I'm old school in that way.
Yeah,
you know everything is virtual now. And I'm, especially for young people, it's like, if there is any way I can help any young person, whether it be connecting them with a mentor, whether it be myself or someone else, an opportunity, whatever it is, I always do it, largely because it was hard for me to navigate and not have someone to help me navigate it, right? You know, largely my journey was, I'm going to do good in school, and like wherever it takes me, I'm going to just figure it out there.
Right.
And, you know, it's hard to pave a road without a blueprint.
Absolutely.
You know,
and that's the biggest, and I can say that too from a young man. We didn't have a plan, and that's the blueprint he's talking about. And sometimes, well, once again, we grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
You know, from the 70s to the 2000s.
Yeah.
Total horse of a different color. But I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah. And what I was going to say, you know, like to your point is, you know, I had a plan, but it's like, I know I wanted to build a house. I knew I wanted the house to look like, but I don't know how to, I'm not a plumber. I don't know how to do carpentry. I'm not an electrician. So it's all of those intricate things that at each level is needed. So I try to help young people in whatever way it might be to be able to come up and be what they want to be, find what they need to find. And again, as we both said, and we both kind of align our lives with, I enjoy that.
I mean, I enjoy it too. I didn't never realize, Kylar, since I stopped coaching 3 years ago, I do just the VSN for the school now. I'm on the TV side of it and the journalism side. How much time I had spent in Cecilia, in Breaux Bridge, in the gym. When I got home after school, I was lost. Now, the first year, I'll tell anybody, that was the hardest time of my life, because I've coached for 30 years nonstop, around the clock.
Around the clock and around the country.
Yeah. So it was hard to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand. So a lot of kids would like to be professional athletes. But what message do you have for student athletes who think sports is the only way or the only path to success?
So I like to use now the Jaylen Brown example, because what people don't realize is Jaylen Brown went to Berkeley.
Okay.
Like, while everyone was I'm going to go to the Dukes or the Kentucky, Jaylen Brown went to Berkeley, was already taking master's classes while he was there as a freshman, gives guest lectures at Harvard, MIT, and all these institutions. Yeah, and the reason I say that is because one dream or aspiration doesn't have to be the only dream or aspiration. There's reasons that the interstate has multiple lanes. You can drive in any one of them to get where you got to go. So, you know, if you prepare for what life in general has for you, right? We have to stop looking at it as like, oh, I just have a dream. Like, life is a journey, right? You're going to have a continuous amount of aspirations, a continuous amount of goals. Like, you know, using yourself, you know, you were the coach, then you pivoted, and now you have this amazing platform. But your impact is still the same. It's still evolving. It's still helping more and more people. And I don't want our young people to get pigeonholed. I think a lot of times when, you know, your entire life is like, I'm going to make it to the NFL, or make it to the NBA, and when that doesn't happen, you were so focused on this one thing for so long that, as you said, when you try to fill it, it's just a gaping hole.
Yeah.
Versus it's like, let's push. Let me be the best on the court, but
and
also
have
the best in class.
have more than one option.
Yes.
Basically, is what he's saying.
Absolutely.
Because everyone wants, especially basketball, it's a 15-man roster. And then you look at the NBA, half of the rosters is foreigners now.
Yes.
So they coming in this country taking your job.
Yeah.
So no, you're absolutely right. A lot of kids figure I'm going to get into the NFL. I'm going to make that money. But NFL, you might get 3 years. Then you got to go off into the real world. So having that education, that's why you see a lot of athletes say, well, I'm going back to school to get the degree. Whether it's just general studies or whatever.
And that's a large even recruiting tool for a lot of colleges. Like if you sign with them, they give you the full ride. Even if you go to the league or whatnot. And I mean, it's the same thing. I have started getting a financial advisor, and they always say that diversification is also protection, right? If I'm invested in multiple things, if one of those things fall,
you have something
I'm gonna
to
be
fall.
fine because
that's
I
what
got
old country folks say. You have something to fall back on, man.
And we have to kind of put that in the minds of our young people, right?
Well, sports talk. When you see this, please pay attention to this conversation. Please pay attention to this young man, Dr. Kylar Wiltz, guys, a Breaux Bridge native, Breaux Bridge graduate. People might say, wow, Breaux Bridge got a doctor now here in town, an African-American doctor. Kylar, we're going to step into the last segment of the show. We're going to say personal reflection and future goal. How did your family and the community support you throughout the academic and athletic journey, in your opinion?
Oh, it means absolutely like everything. When I got to medical school, they have something called Patagonias, and on mine it had 337 made.
Oh, man.
And it's because if I couldn't tattoo it on my heart, at least I could wear it with me every day, because my home genuinely means so much to me. When people ask me where I'm from, I don't say I'm from Lafayette. I don't say I'm from New Orleans. I'm from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana.
Crawford, capital of the world.
Absolutely. And, I would be remiss to not honor everyone that put so much into me, because I wouldn't be there without each and every person. I wouldn't have been there without the lessons I learned from Team Louisiana. I wouldn't have been there without the lessons from Biddy basketball or the 4-H club at Breaux Bridge. All of those things played a unique role in getting me to where I am today and in helping me stand on my 2 feet.
You know why I can tell you you're a smart dude? Because you done answered 2 questions without even getting the second question.
Well, but you see, that's a chemistry, coach. That's a chemistry.
My next question is going to be, what one lesson you learned from your basketball days that helped you today as a doctor? But you just answered my question.
Man, it's just, you have to, and one thing I tell people is, like, we all going to fall. It's a part of life. We all going to fall. We all going to fail. But our life journey is not dictated about how many times we fall. It's about how many times you get back up. Because everybody falls, but not everybody decides to get back up.
No, you're right. People don't know my personal journey. That's why I tell a lot of kids and say, guys, I'm going to just let y'all be. But anyway, what he's saying is, guys, if you fall, you will fall. Yeah. Something's going to happen. You might stumble if you don't fall. But get up, keep going. It's a lot more to life than that. And to all the youngsters, what he was saying about the path to success is not only through sports, it's through academics first. Because if you're not getting the grade, coaches can't do nothing with you or for you out in that aspect of the game of life. You want your coaches to put you in a situation where, like you said, the game of life is just as fun as the game of basketball or football. Or it should be better.
Yeah.
It should be better. So now that you have reached a milestone, you're Dr. Wiltz now. What's next, both personally and professionally? Now I'm gonna ask you personally, because are you dating or single?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am dating.
Okay. So he's off limit, guys. Don't text my. I'm just joking.
I mean, to your point, I think as any one of us might say, though, like, love is important in life, right? Like, that's something that we all yearn for. Right. It's something that we all are constantly looking for as well. And I'm included within that.
Right.
But as far as, next step, of course, residency, my I guess 2 biggest check marks along the journey is I would definitely like to be a clinician. Like to run a hospital system one day, and then fingers crossed, I would definitely love to come back to Louisiana and run for public office. Definitely. I see you already laying like the foundations for, someone to come behind, and I definitely commend you for that, because we need more of our voices who are on the ground, who actually have the experiences of the people from here to represent us. So, it's when I remember when you got elected, and I was like, man, this really
I was-
goes to show.
I was
like,
shocked. I'll
we
be honest.
moving.
I'm just people. I guess people respected me, and I appreciate them.
It was
for
like
trusting
you've
me.
done, we, and again, we always are kind of humble, but you've done so much, for the community. And I mean, again, like through basketball, you've sent so many people to colleges. You've showed people a different aspect of the world. Like most of us didn't go on to be professional athletes. Now you've had some,
Right.
like Pancake, he's still hooping.
Yeah, we had a
but-
team Louisiana.
But it's like, you've seen a bunch of us have gone to college. A bunch of us are doing incredible things in life, have
Absolutely.
families.
Absolutely.
So, that was a no-brainer. I felt sorry if whoever tried to run
Yeah,
against
well,
you.
I appreciate it. I really do, because sometimes you don't hear that enough. But
Yeah.
no, we always at Team Louisiana. Big Dave Thibodeau and his wife, Miss Rose.
Yeah.
We always strive to get the kids.
And rest in peace to,
Yeah.
to Big David.
Yeah, man. They always was like academic,
Yeah.
student athlete,
Well,
student
Miss Rose
athlete.
used to have the summer recreation.
Yeah.
I was literally just talking to one of my friends how they used to take us to Six
Yeah.
Flags before Katrina hit.
Well, things has changed due to some of the programs in the state of Louisiana. You don't
Yeah.
get all that assistance. But man, we could sit here for hours and talk.
Oh, man.
I just want to
It's a good
ask you,
catch-up session.
will you come back if we sports talk continue in the future? I'd like to have you back,
absolutely,
man.
And then again, even the other stuff that you said, I'm a type of person that no matter what I'm doing, I find time for things that I value and find important to me. And this work, supporting the people again that you've given us so much, like that's important.
Well,
So
thank
just
you.
as you called me today and said pull up, I was like, I'm a town coach, like I'm gonna come
Well,
meet you.
man, I thought I like, baby, I know he's gonna come see the family for the holidays. So let me
Yeah.
try to reach out to him and get this done. Cause man, I like to share this story. That's one of our kids, man, Big Dave. We sitting down with the doctor, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dave must be saying, God dang it,
Yeah.
where he was when I needed him. Huh?
Oh man.
So, God, anything you want to touch on that I might have forgot or might not ask, or you want Sports Talk fans to know about
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. So, this morning I was having a conversation back about a housing authority, and kind of got on a conversation about politics and all of that thing. And one thing I want everybody to understand is that the biggest hurdle, the biggest obstacle that we have right now is a lack of positivity and in a better outlook, like capturing our ability to dream of a better life. And I want people to fully understand that we all have a duty and a responsibility, if not to ourselves, but to other people in our communities, to next generations, to stand up when the time calls for it, right? To be able to pull towards the belt of justice and equity and equality. Because, in times such as this, it's a lot easier to get scared. And, I encourage and I implore people to try to pull on that, right? I actually met one of the gentlemen who were on the Edmund Pettus Bridge during the Bloody Sunday.
That's amazing.
And I gave a speech, and just kind of being in the room with them, it genuinely goes to show that what an ounce of courage can do. And we just need to pull onto that sunlight, right? There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll get there together as long as we love each other and kind of pull on that
Man,
positivity.
you're a fine young man. I think the word in a nutshell for most people, trust.
Yeah.
We have to trust each other for one. We have to believe in each other for two. And we have to be honest with each other.
Yes.
Be honest. When we come up here, we're not gaslighting nobody. We're going to go together. I don't want to say we're going to war. We're going to get this done. When I turn around, I'm all alone.
Yes.
That's no trust. That's no honesty. And that means you didn't believe in me. So you need at least three of those things, and maybe a whole lot more. But we're gonna do this together, you and I.
Absolutely.
We're gonna shoot for next summer, and we're gonna get the coaches at all the schools, and to bring in everybody from cheerleaders, volleyball, and we're gonna find us a place.
Oh yeah, we.
If you watching this, Dr. Wiltz, Sports Talk City Councilman Scotty Burrell, we want to do a high school seminar for St. Martin Parish.
A call to action.
Yeah, and we want to challenge anybody that want to help us. If you think of something, give me a call at 337-257-5285. Man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm with
absolutely.
Dr. Will. Doctor got me feeling good, y'all. I got my checkup. I got my blood pressure checked. But anything else, Doc? We thank you. Are you good?
I'm good. Again, thank you so much for having me on, to speak with you. I always love talking to you. And also just this platform to speak to all of your listeners. I think the times. You know, we could all use some good conversation and some positivity.
You know, before we go, not to cut you off, when we were younger, we did more things outside.
That's another thing.
So that's another issue. We'll get on that later. But what you just said, having conversation with older gentlemen, every time we cut a block, there was an older gentleman where? Under the tree. So a lot of times you stop and say, well, not most of the time. You had to stop and say hello. Because we were raised that way. So you got a conversation whether you wanted it or not. And sometimes people would say, the biggest conversation I had, I'll never forget, but it was a group of guys, but I forgot which one who said it. Let me say this. The guy said, did you realize soap and water was going to be a business? And I looked at him, I'm like, excuse me? What's a car wash?
Yes.
Soap and
like
water.
Older people say some things to you, just
so,
like...
I'm like, what?
And they catch you later, you like...
The same things you do for free, the same thing that'll make you rich.
Yes.
How many times did I did workouts for free? Huh?
Yeah.
All right. No. But now, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kylar Wiltz, first I want to say this to your parents and your step-parents and your siblings. Outstanding young man. Y'all did a great job. Rest easy, Mom, Dad. He's going to be fine. You know, he's going to do a lot of things in the future you guys are going to be proud of. I hope I'm here to see some of it. I want to be a part of it if I can, and we're going to make this happen. Man, Dr. Kylar Wiltz, your journey from Breaux Bridge to becoming a doctor, a true example of perseverance, purpose, and pride. You're proven with that with faith and focus, anything is possible, both on and off the basketball court. We are so proud of you. Can't wait to see what's next, what your accomplishment next. Thank you for joining us on Sports Talk. I'm Coach Scotty Burrell. I like to say either you can't or you don't want. We're going to go out in the bang. 1, 2, 3. TL. 4, 5, 6. Family. I got you.
With Coach Scotty Burrell. Either you can or you don't want.
Welcome to 2 League Graphic Visions Design, your trusted creative partner in Lafayette, Louisiana. Serving Acadiana and surrounding areas, we specialize in professional logos, branding, flyers, and event promotions. We pride ourselves on quality, creativity, and personalized service to meet your unique needs. Partner with 2 League Graphic Vision Design, where your vision becomes powerful, professional visuals.